Hey Rose family, it's your girl Serenity Rose, and we are back with another video. As you guys can tell by the title, we are going to be doing a rating all my palettes type of thing. I definitely have less than 30, so that's good. I also want to mention that I give full credit to this video to Diahnet Santos. She's one of my really good friends. She's like a bestie here on YouTube. I love all her creative looks. Her personality is super dope. She's super calm, super chill. She's super genuine. I freaking love her. And she has a twin sister and she's amazing. So go check her channel out and her video. I will leave it linked down below. So yeah, I liked the video, and I don't know if she came up with the idea. I'm pretty sure maybe someone else has it out there, but I saw her video and I got the video idea from her, so I'm giving credit to her. So yeah, if you want to see all my palettes and what I rate them from 1 through 10, then just keep on watching. Okay, so I'm not gonna make this a lengthy video. I'm gonna try to run through it because I do have a nail appointment at 12. So I want to be ready and start setting up around 11:30, and it is currently 10:25, so I have about an hour to film this, and then I'll edit after she leaves. So let's get right on into it. Okay, so the first palette I have is the Jaclyn Hill palette by Morphe. This is what it looks like, and I'm pretty sure everyone has this palette or at least knows about it. So I have used this quite a bit. You can see some dents and some shades like this one, this one, this one, this one, and some dips and a few others. But I love this palette. It has the names on the back. This is the newer packaging. So I used this palette today to create this eye look, and I absolutely love it. I have this palette right now in my everyday drawer because I'm trying to use it as much as I can, because I haven't used it that much since I purchased it last year. So yeah, I super love this palette, and if it had to rate it, I would give it a 10, because I feel like I could take this with me anywhere and create any type of look. A neutral look, an evening look, a date night look, a club look, a whatever type of look I need, I could get from that palette. So the next palette I have is the 3503 Fierce by Nature palette, also by Morphe, and I just purchased this a few weeks ago, and there goes the sleeve. So the names do come on the sleeve like so, but not everybody wants to keep this. I'm trying to keep it for as long as I can, but it is really annoying every time I open up the palette that it falls out. But besides that, this is what it looks like. I've used this about 2 to 3 times already, and I can say this is probably going to be my next palette that I put in my everyday makeup drawer, because I love the pigmentation. I love the shades in here. There's a lot of browns. I love these pops of pink, and this green is beautiful, and that pressed glitter is amazing. So yeah, if I had to rate this 1 out of 10, I would give it like a 9.5, just because there's only a few shimmers. I do like to have a decent amount of shimmers and mattes in my palettes, so there's like 75% mattes in that palette, and then like 25% shimmers, which I prefer like a 50-50 portion or percentage. But yeah, I give that palette a 9.5. The next palette that I have is from Tarte. I believe this is from the Rainforest of the Sea collection. I have the Sizzle one, and first off, look at the packaging. Just the packaging alone gets points, and then the back is like super reflective. And then this palette comes with a nice size mirror, but these are what these shades look like. You can tell that I have used this quite a bit. I'm hitting pan on this shade. There's a dip in some of these shimmers. This is a really nice palette. The formula though is not my favorite. The mattes are super dry. You have to build them up quite a bit. I've used this a few times, but again, like I said, you have to build up the mattes extremely a lot, like, if that makes any sense. But like, they barely show up. So if I had to give this a rating, I'd give it like a 4.5. And the shimmers are super glittery. Not really my favorite formula, so definitely a 4.5. The next eyeshadow palette I have is from Voss. It's the Essentials Pro Series eyeshadow palette, and it does also come with a mirror. And then this is a 10 pan eyeshadow palette. The kick up is pretty okay, I guess. It is a little bit messy, but the pigmentation is worth it. This is what the palette looks like. It is super pigmented. They blend out super nicely. I love the color story in here. I can definitely use this for an everyday look. If you were to like just take these two colors out, this is like an everyday type of eyeshadow palette, but it is fun to have a nice pop of green, a nice decent black, a nice gold. There's a lot of warm tones in here and I love it. I received this in a BoxyCharm. Oh, I sound a bit dry. I received this in a BoxyCharm and I like it. So if I had to give this rating, I give it like a 8.5. Just because there's a decent amount of kick up or fallout. The next palette that I have is from Juvia's Place. This is the Zulu palette. It does come with a plastic. It is a 9 pan eyeshadow palette. These pan sizes are freaking huge compared to any other eyeshadow that I have, but I love the color in this palette. I love these 3 colors on the top. They're really easy to use for transition shades, and then you could just play around with color if you wanted to. Now with this palette, like I said, nice transitions, nice shimmers, but can you create every single day looks with this? Unless you just use brown 24/7 or one of these shades only, then yes. But if not, no. I would have to use another palette in conjunction with this palette to create a look. So for that, there's some points off there. Also, there's no mirror, which is not a big deal because I have a big mirror right in front of me, but also points there. And the pigmentation is amazing. I'm not sure if I said that already, but the pigmentation is great. These blend out super great. Like the blendability is bomb. So with that being said, I also really like the holographic like part on the packaging. But with that being said, I think I would give this palette like a 8.5 to 9. So this is quickly becoming a favorite of mine, and I definitely want to try more of their palettes. The next palette that I have is also from Morphe. It is from the Jaclyn Hill Vault collection. This is the Bling Voss one, which is the purple color story. It has a nice mirror, and then it is a 10 pan eyeshadow palette, and that is what it looks like. And I really do like this. I remember there was a whole controversy surrounding this launch of her Vault collection. Some of these particular Bling Voss palettes were patchy for others. Some people loved it. I think I got a good palette because it wasn't patchy for me. It was like the darker colors that was a bit patchy for other influencers or whatever. But it wasn't a problem for me. I created a nice like fall deep maroonish look with it, and the shimmers are pretty amazing. I already love Morphe shimmer formula. So with that being said, I would give this palette a 7.5 just because I love purple, but it's not something I reach for 24/7. I don't find myself reaching for this palette often. So with that being said, 7.5. The next palette that I have is from Ace Beauté. This is the Grandiose palette. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but that is how it is pronounced or spelled on the palette right there. I love the design on this package. It looks like royal for some reason to me. And then it doesn't have a mirror, but I love the design on the inside. Again, I have my own mirror, so not that much of a big deal for me, maybe for others. And this is a 8 pan eyeshadow palette. And as you can see, I hit pan on the shade. This is probably one of my favorite like yellow shades. I use this to set my lids, especially on a day where I'm just doing wing liner, no eyeshadow. This is a beautiful like yellow toned nude color for me. So as far as pigmentation goes with these palettes, I absolutely love them. The shimmers are great. The mattes are great. They blend out amazing, and they are super pigmented and not too much kick up or fallout. So I appreciate that as well. This is a really nice fall palette, like the color story for me. It's very warm, and I could definitely use this every day for fall looks. I could create this probably exact look with this palette that I got from the Jaclyn Hill palette. So with that being said, I give this palette a, I don't know, it's one of my favorites. So I'm going to give it a 10 because I really do like reaching for this palette a lot. Also, it is super sleek and thin. Love it. Next, I have the Laura Lee Los Angeles Party Animal palette. This little palette is a 6-pan eyeshadow palette. It does come with a cute little mirror. And it's just all pops of color. Now, as beautiful as this may seem, let me lower my lighting. As beautiful as this palette looks, it is super powdery, and when you try to blend the shades together, they just blend away. Not my favorite formula. You have to literally lay down like a concealer or a sticky base to get these to stick. And do you want to do that every time you have to use color? No, or at least I don't. So with that being said, I do love the size. The colors are really pretty, but if they would actually work, that would have been, you know, super helpful. So with that being said, I give this palette a, I want to say 2.5. Yeah, I'm going to give this a 2.5 because literally the only thing that intrigues me about that palette is the packaging and that it has a mirror. So next we have the Sahara palette from Face Candy. This is what it looks like. I love this packaging. It's like a soft matte with like the letters are raised and the detail. I just love it. It has a nice weight to it. Super slim, and it does come with a mirror. But this is what the eyeshadows look like, and as you can see, I love this palette a ton. I hit pan on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shades in here, and there's dips in the rest of them. I absolutely love this eyeshadow palette. It is super pigmented. The colors in here are super pretty. They're very warm toned, and the shimmers in here, the shimmers or metallics or whatever you want to call them, are by far the best that I have ever tried. I don't even need to wet my brush to use the shimmers in these palettes. So also going to give this palette a 10. The next palette I have is also from Face Candy. This is the Amazonia palette. Also nice packaging, same as the Sahara palette. This is supposed to be a dupe for the Kylie Naughty or Nice palette. Also comes with a mirror, and also the Sahara palette and this palette are 14-pan eyeshadow palettes, and this is the colors for this one. I can use this for the fall or winter, whenever. As you can see, there's a different type of color story going on here. You do have that deep maroon shade, which I hit pan on, and I also hit pan on this shade. This is more of a cool tone palette with pops of warm tones like the orange, that burgundy, and that brown, but everything else screams cool tone to me. So for that reason, it's not my favorite palette to reach for, but again, there's some really pretty shimmers in here. Like this red is super pretty, and this one is really pretty, and this gold is super, super pigmented, along with the rest of the eyeshadow palette. So I'm going to give this one a 9 just because the color story isn't for me. The next eyeshadow palette that I have is from Wet n Wild. This is the Rose and the Air eyeshadow palette. It does not come with a mirror. It is a 10-pan eyeshadow palette. You could get this at the drugstore, and this is what it looks like. This is supposed to be a dupe for the Modern Renaissance palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and it sure is. I love the formulation on these palettes. Wet n Wild for me does it really well with eyeshadows, especially their mattes. They blend out super amazing. They're super pigmented. The shimmers could be better, and their packaging is a bit cheapy. So for that, I'm going to give this palette a 8, but overall I really do like this palette. Talking about the Modern Renaissance palette, I have it right here, and it does come with a mirror. It's a 14-pan eyeshadow palette. As you can see, the colors from the Wet n Wild one are pretty similar, so you don't have to spend a crap ton of money and get this palette when you could get that one for like less than 10 bucks. But as you can see, I love this eyeshadow palette. I've hit pan on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shades. Oh, and I hit pan on this one, so 6 and almost 7 on this one. So this eyeshadow palette was amazing. I love the color story. It's a nice warm tone palette. It blended out amazing. But everyone knows about this palette and it's great. And her formula is great. They are a bit powdery. But overall, I would give the Modern Renaissance palette a 9. The next palette that I have is from Dose of Colors. It's the Blushing Berries palette. They do have different like color stories for these. I think there's like 5 or 6 other ones. I do like this. I received it in a BoxyCharm. It does come with a nice little mirror. But I love these shades. I love how you could create one cohesive look and it goes in like order from lightest to darkest. There's a lot of kick up with this palette, but the pigment is amazing. They're all matte. And I know I like to have shimmers in my palettes, but sometimes I do go for all matte looks, and this palette would be perfect for you if you like all matte looks. Like today, this is an all matte look, and I could probably achieve it with this palette. I would have thrown this in the crease and this all over the lid, and it would have been very similar to this. So with that being said, I really love this palette. It's one of my favorites since I got it. I got it in my BoxyCharm, I believe I think I got this in my October BoxyCharm, if I'm not mistaken. So I give that palette a 10. No, I'm gonna give it a 9.5 because there is a lot of kick up. So the next palette I have is from A2O, which is from Shop Miss A. It's their like brand. So it comes with 3 eyeshadows and then a contour shade and a highlighter. We're not going to focus on these. We're just focusing on the eyeshadows. They're super pigmented, surprisingly. I really like them. The mattes are really nice. They are a little bit hard to blend out, so you got to go in with a light hand. But the shimmer is amazing. Let's just do a little swatch. Look at that. Can you see that? Can you even see that? Well, it is super amazing anyways. So I would give Shop Miss A, A2O eyeshadow palettes a 7.5 because they definitely tried better. They're not my favorite, but they're not the worst. The next eyeshadow palette that I have is from Pretty Vulgar. This is the Nightingale eyeshadow palette, and this is what the front looks like. And it also comes with a mirror, and it opens like this, which is not my favorite. But this is what the eyeshadows look like. Definitely not my favorite eyeshadow palette. I don't really gravitate towards cool tone eyeshadow palettes, but when I do, I would reach for this one and another one, little one that I have in my collection that I'll speak about later. But these are super nice. There is a bit of powder or kick up when you tap into the pans themselves. This particular palette has 12 pans of eyeshadow. It is really cute packaging. It is I don't know. I don't really know about this palette. There's just something about it that makes me not want to love it. Maybe it's because it's cool toned, but when I did use it in my BoxyCharm, because I received this in a BoxyCharm last year, I believe. When I did use it, I did create a really nice cool toned simple look. So it is nice and the pigment is nice. I'm going to give this a 6.5. Again, not the worst, but not my favorite. The next eyeshadow palette that I have is the first eyeshadow palette that I purchased. It is from Makeup Revolution. This is the 32-piece eyeshadow palette, the Flawless 3 Resurrection. And I love the reflective rose gold packaging. This comes with a nice size mirror as well. This is what these shades look like. As you can see, I hit pan on quite a few shades. This is a really nice starter palette. There's a lot of warm tones. There is a few cool tone browns in here. There's actually a lot more cool tone browns. So if you're just starting off, this is a really good palette. They are a bit dry, but I will never declutter this either because this is my first palette. It has it's a special place in my heart and in my collection, so I'm never gonna get rid of it. But if I had to give it a rating, I would give it a 7.5. It did the job when I first started and it helped me get to where I am today, so it's a decent palette. The next palette that I have is a Z palette. There is a mixture of shades in here. It's actually 2 shades in here. I'm not sure if I remember where this one came from. Yeah, I don't remember where this one came from, but it's a pretty blue. We'll swatch that here. It's like a, I don't know. It's like in between, well, it's like a matte blue with like a nice little sheen, but when you swatch it, it comes off a bit green. And then up here, this is a Ofra eyeshadow. I don't know the name of it, but it's not my favorite black, so I can't really rate this, but I thought I showed you anyways. And then the last little palette that I have is from Wet n Wild again. It's a quad. This is the 337 Silent Treatment palette, and this is what it looks like. It's 4 shades. Doesn't have a mirror, nothing. The pan size are like different shapes or whatever. But this is what it looks like. This is the cool tone palette that I was talking about. I did create a really nice look using all of these shades, using the directions, because since I used it, you can't see it, but there's words engraved on them. So like the black or the deep brown says crease. This is supposed to be a brow bone shade. This is a transition shade. And I think this is supposed to go on the eyelid. So I used those steps and the look came out really pretty. Again, Wet n Wild does their mattes really nicely. So I'm going to give this little palette a 6.5. Again, I'm not into cool tones. So that is that. So those are all the palettes that I have. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me rate my eyeshadow collection on all my palettes. If you have any questions or if you agree or disagree with some of my ratings, then drop it down below in the comment section. Don't forget to drop a thumbs up for me if you like the video. Also, please don't forget to subscribe to the Rose family before you guys go. I would love to have you guys join the little family I got going on here. I love all my subscribers. Yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys are having an amazing day or night, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!